Welcome to Coyote's Corner. This episode, we'll be listening to Michael Lang tell a true tale, seeing through different eyes.
Are you ready for some kickball? Nearly 24 bleary-eyed sixth graders stare back at me, bewildered that any normal human being could possibly have this much energy at 7:30 on a Monday morning. I've grown accustomed to this response, so I smile and begin my introduction, explaining that today I am here at Oyster River Middle School on behalf of the New Hampshire Association for the Blind to introduce the sixth graders to an adapted sport called beep kickball. It's hard to believe that nearly 2 years ago I played this game for the first time. That also happened to be the first time I taught this game. I had just started volunteering for the New Hampshire Association for the Blind, helping to plan programs and events throughout the seacoast area of New Hampshire, when one of my coworkers looked to me during a meeting. "So, Mike, we were wondering." This is a very dangerous way for any string of dialogue to begin. Anytime a conversation begins with, "so," "well," or perhaps even "about that," and continues on into "we were thinking," "we were wondering," "we had a conversation," a dialogue about. This is the point where a wise man should be looking at his watch saying, yes, the time. Oh, I do think I have to depart. Oh, I'm late for an appointment, and I believe my goldfish is on fire. I did not have a clever excuse prepared, however, and so the conversation continued. "Mike, we were wondering, we've got an event coming up at the Sacred Heart School in Hampton, and one of the activities we want to do is beep kickball, but nobody seems to know how to play it. We were wondering if you might be able to." I didn't have the heart to tell them I had never played this game before. However, when I was working as a camp counselor at a camp designed for children with vision impairments, I had played beep baseball, and I assumed the two sports could not be very different. The next thing I knew, I was surrounded by dozens of teenagers, all looking to me. "So what's this game all about, man?" At that moment, I could hear my high school astronomy teacher's words. Never underestimate how far you can get with a friendly smile and a well-modulated voice. So I looked at all those teenagers, and I smiled, and I started to explain beep kickball. This game is all about learning what it's like to have a vision impairment. So while we're playing this game, you're going to have your eyes closed. Now I want you to imagine a normal baseball diamond. Now take away second base. We don't need no stinking second base. Take away the pitcher and the catcher. We don't need them either. Take all the infield positions that remain and send them to the outfield, because this game is supposed to be challenging for everyone. Now, because we're trying to learn what it's like to be blind, we're going to have our eyes closed while playing this game. I have some blindfolds if you need them, but our goal is to try to keep our eyes closed while we're playing. Now, because we have our eyes closed, everything makes noise. The ball beeps. When you kick it, either first base or third base will begin to make noise. You have to find your way to that noise. If you make it to the correct base before someone in the field finds the ball, you've scored a run. But if someone in the field finds the ball first, you're out. And so we begin to play, and little by little, the game takes shape. Soon our time has expired. The next group is on its way, but I gather all these teenagers around me once more. "What'd you think?" "Oh, it was really fun. It was hard. I was really trying. I was really trying to keep my eyes closed." So I got one question before I send you on your way. I look at all of them. You just spent 30 minutes playing a game with your eyes closed. What do you think it would be like if you could not open your eyes again? All right, go on your way. I just want you to think about that as you continue on today, as you're back in class tomorrow. Just think about that. That was nearly 2 years ago, and little by little, this program has grown. I've run this game for dozens of groups throughout the state of New Hampshire, And here I am today at Oyster River Middle School, once again playing this game, teaching and entertaining through an adapted sport. When the gym class has nearly ended, I gather all the children around me. All right, so what'd you think? It was fun. It was hard. I couldn't tell whether third base or first base was making noise. I think I ran to the wrong one. Yeah, you did, but that's okay. This is all about learning what it's like to be blind, and sometimes when you're blind, you go the wrong direction. I have one last question for you all. You spent half an hour playing this game with your eyes closed. What do you think it would be like if you couldn't open your eyes again? That'd be awful. I'd never be able to skateboard again. How would I play a video game? I'd never learn how to drive. I'd never see another sunset again. Then one girl speaks up from the far side of the circle. I think I'd be okay. Everyone goes silent. All eyes look to her. I mean, it would be hard at first, but that's because I'm not used to using my ears or feeling my way around. But I think after a while, I would adapt. And I think I'd be okay. It took me until I was in my early 20s and legally blind before I learned that lesson. But today, with this group of students, I've helped at least one person learn that lesson. And that is what keeps me doing this program, not because of the sport itself, but because of the conversation that sport causes. And as I continue to play this sport, to teach through movement and games, I'm reminded again and again of how similar we really are. Whether we can see, whether we can't, we're all really alike on the inside. So perhaps, if you take the time to look through the eyes of a stranger, you just might find a part of yourself looking back at you.
That was Michael Lang telling Seeing Through Different Eyes. I'm sitting down with Michael now to get some background on that story and see where it came from. Thank you, Michael.
Absolutely, Toby.
So, you used this story previously this week in a different radio program.
I did.
What made you choose this story for that program?
So the theme for this month with True Tales Radio was being different. And I was sort of asked at the last moment, hey, we need another storyteller. Are you willing to jump up and do this? And when I think of stories from my life about being different, usually my mind goes to my vision impairment. That pretty much makes me different from a lot of the people around me in most circumstances. I've told a lot of different stories on that radio show about my vision, how it's impacted me, and I thought it would be interesting to tell a story of how I am using my vision to impact other people around me with this adaptive sports program that has come to be a part of my life.
Okay. Now, in these two different parts of your life, you've got the storytelling on the one hand and facilitating adaptive sports.
Right.
How much overlap is there?
There's actually a surprising amount of overlap, and that might be because I was a facilitator before I was a storyteller, at least professionally. I was an outdoor educator for nearly a decade, and storytelling came after that. But with both of these activities, I'm trying to work with a group of people and communicate an idea to them. And at least from my point of view, trying to have an impact on someone. Whether I'm telling a folk tale or I'm trying to teach some aspect of life, how to play together without killing each other, I'm trying to have an impact on you and the way you think, usually through my voice and other things that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, during the recording of this and the editing process, we talked a little bit about, or you asked me, hey, I'm explaining the rules in this, does that need to be in there?
Right.
And I commented that, well, I was listening to it and I was engaged.
Right.
And that it really seemed like you were using a lot of the same skills where over a story you're trying to explain something that's going on, but you're really controlling their level of interest and their excitement.
Right. I'm trying to find ways to make this story matter to you.
Sounds a lot like the facilitation. It's, I need to give you information, but I need to keep your attention, and I kind of need to make sure you're having a good time with it too.
It definitely helps, especially if I want you to remember or care about this experience. Having fun along with it, that's a good way to make it work.
Yeah.
And with a story, it's very much the same way. If I'm not enjoying the story, it doesn't matter what message you were trying to give me and the moral of that story. I didn't like it. I stopped listening.
Yeah.
As a facilitator, if I'm doing the same thing, you're probably not going to get anything out of the experience because I didn't create an environment where you could learn.
Right. And for me, it's just interesting looking at, previous stories where you've talked about how you got into storytelling and how that came out of being that facilitator that had to get the kids to quiet down at night.
Right, yeah, like that camp that I was working at that I mentioned in this story.
Yeah. Now it's all kind of come full circle again, where you started off as a facilitator, kicked off as a storyteller. Now you're bringing all the storytelling skills that you've been developing back into the facilitation.
And in a way, because of this program where I'm talking about matters related to vision loss, I can actually weave in my personal story, and it has a greater impact because now I'm not just talking about this sport and talking about what if you lost your eyesight. Here I am as someone who has lost and will likely continue to lose. So when I was your age, this was my experience. How is that the same or different from yours? Let's play this game so you can put yourself in my shoes a little bit. It gives that more personal tone that helps to create that connection between facilitator and group, storyteller and audience. Whatever connection you might be looking for, having that personal investment, that helps.
Excellent. Well, thank you for connecting with us.
Absolutely.
And to our audience out there, thank you so much for tuning in. If you'd like to hear more about Mike's storytelling, check out his website at coyotesinc.com. And if you would like to find out more about the Adaptive Sports Program, we will have a link down below in the description to the New Hampshire Association for the Blind.
And as always, don't forget to like, favorite, and share so you never miss anything going on here.
And until next time, this has been Coyote's Corner.